You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, we got a little quick episode here for everybody. Not a whole lot in the New World front, but we did get some pretty cool Twitter action over here. We're going to talk about the Legends of New World as a new series. Seems to be about the lore behind Aeternum, so that's exciting for us. We cover the lore as well over here on Fridays, so you should check that series out. But we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then also another touring Aeternum. We got Edengrove, which is one of my favorite zones aesthetically. So, Bordy, let's hop right in here, dude. Legends of New World is a new series that we got. It seems to be about the lore of New World, what happened, what's going on with Aeternum. We also got a video with it, Bordy, so it's pretty exciting to see some new footage. Dude, I like the cinematography that they used in the video. I thought that was really cool as well, Bordy. So let's talk a little bit about this. So Aeternum calls adventurers from across all worlds and ages. I thought that was a pretty unique a little fact that they put because, dude, we've always kind of had the suspicion that there's something related to, like, potentially, like, time with Aeternum. We get to see all these dynasties and all these powerful empires there present on Aeternum. But what do you think about this calling people from all ages? I think that's pretty interesting.
That is pretty interesting, man. It's kind of a little bit of a play on words there. I don't know if we're reading into it too much, or if there's something really there. And I would like to think there's something really there, man. Calling people of all ages. It seems like that time almost stops on Aeternum, and it's kind of this mystical place, and we don't know a lot about it. And that even more enthralls me and makes me want to know what's going on there and the mysteries behind Aeternum. We still don't know. And maybe the ancient technology in Azoth has something to do with the stopping of time there, and then it just pulls people in from all ages and all different time periods, which would be cool, man, because if that's the case, dude, and they tie that into the lore somehow, there's a lot they can start doing with that. I mean, at some point they could even bring in some more modern technology or go further back with some older stuff. I mean, there's so many things that opens up the door for future expansion. So it was exciting to kind of hear that little tidbit, and I hope that they lean into that. Yeah. Well,
one of the things I think is interesting is, as players, we've been on Aeternum technically the entire game. So, dude, how much time could elapse during the time that we're here on Aeternum and between expansions? I think that's pretty unique to think about because we're in the colonial stage, or our characters are from the colonial stage. But what happens, like, if they start to sneak in some current time frame technology and ideas and people that maybe a cruise ship lands on Aeternum or something like that. I think they have so many different options and abilities to kind of pursue that. I think that's really cool. So one of the things that, again, we've talked about a lot is what do they mean by be able to seize eternity in New World? I think that is a unique phrasing there. And here are the two things that I think we can kind of debate between is the Fountain of Youth there? We've kind of, the Age of Exploration was centered around finding new and cool things, very mystical. And I think one of the most exciting periods of time is that, that feeling that explorers got as they cross the ocean to what's on the other side. I think a lot of people didn't know America was actually there, and it was cool that they were able to find that and everything. I think that, one of the things that people were also looking for was the Fountain of Youth, so that's another option. Maybe Aeternum is the place of that, that thing that everybody looked for to find eternal life. Or is Aeternum some sort of like purgatory? Is like, it seems like everybody that comes to Aeternum is dying or, has died before, so maybe is Aeternum some sort of like spiritual place that isn't even really present on the earth that kind of, we're kind of trapped in as players.
Yeah, and it does kind of seem that way because nobody can get off. We in our lore series, we've kind of went over that a little bit before about how some people have tried to escape Aeternum and it didn't work out very well for them. They didn't get very far until their ship crashed and they turned into drowned and washed back up on the shores of Aeternum. So it's kind of interesting, man. No one can escape the island, so I think you may be onto something there with the purgatory theory. I don't know, but it's it's kind of one of those things where you go into the mist and then maybe the mist does something weird and then you're stuck there forever. I'm not real sure what happens there, but it's going to be interesting to kind of unravel that as time goes on. And you also, we do know from doing lore for these past several weeks that most people can't die on Aeternum. It is weird that some people can and some people do, and then most people cannot die on Aeternum. So then that goes back to the fact of, well, how long have you actually been here? You know, you could go 100 years and then die and then come back, and then so it's interesting, man. There was a lot of things to unpack from that little short 45-second video, and it was incredible, by the way. Whoever put that together, that video was dope. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because one of the expeditions that we've kind of been informed upon, it has something to do with, I think it's Isabella or potential Princess Zhao is trying to escape Aeternum to try to take her fleet across the seas and back into the the world in which we all came from. So I think that's interesting, and we'll see what happens at the end of that expedition if we kind of maybe stop them from doing that, which is another odd thing. Why wouldn't we want to leave? I don't know. There's just some interesting things there. Obviously, they're corrupted, and we probably don't want them traveling around the world. But I just think there's a lot of interesting things there, Bordy. So yeah, great job on the video. I'm excited to see the rest. This is part 1 of a 3-part series, they said. So I'm sure we'll be talking more about this on the podcast in the future. Of course, Bordy, we got another touring Aeternum, and this one was Edengrove, dude. Edengrove is one of the most beautiful zones I think I've ever seen in an MMO. It's got that angry earth aesthetic and influence in the zone. Of course, dude, the birch trees with the red leaves, all the beautiful like multicolored flora. This zone is sick, Bordy.
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's probably one of the best looking zones I've ever seen in any MMO, and it's different as you progress through the zone, and they show that in this touring Aeternum, the Edengrove video that they posted. There's so many different kind of landscapes tied into this one landscape, and they kind of all work together and make this amazing looking area, man. With the way the water flows through there, those birch trees with the red leaves, man, look amazing. The entire zone looks absolutely incredible, and we've played through here and we've been able to visit this during the preview event, some other events that you've been able to participate in, Red, and the zone it's incredible. I have to agree that it's probably one of my favorite in the game so far, and I like snowy areas, man, a lot, but this one is it's pretty intriguing. I like it, man.
Yeah, dude, it's just one of the coolest. Like you mentioned, there's several, key like points of interest here. One of the Garden of Genesis. It's one of the other expeditions that they've kind of leaked and shown us about in the patch notes. I think the Spriggan Arena is also in Edengrove, so that's another point of interest there. One of the things that's also important about the location of Edengrove, it is setting outside the Shattered Mountain on I believe like the southeast border. So this is again one of those zones that kind of lead you towards the end game, Bordy. So I like that they mentioned Preservation Pass and how they kind of hinted that settlers would want to set up their camps there before they venture into the Shattered Mountains because there's treachery ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The Preservation Pass looks really, really cool too. I like the architecture there and the stonework and all that stuff. It's very ancient looking. It has all the ancient looking statues and the heads there, and it looks just really cool. And again, the scale of that thing. I mentioned scale a bunch in MMOs because they do a good job with this, and it looks really, really good. I enjoy these series a lot, and this one in particular, this zone is just so captivating, man. It's really, really cool. It's something you can kind of really get engrossed in. I am here for it, dude. I liked it.
Yeah, I love the idea of the angry earth being kind of Aeternum's like natural response to the corruption and to all the settlers there, kind of a defense mechanism. They have some pretty cool looking mobs, and the diversity between those mobs are really cool. Blight is an annoying. Yeah. It's awesome, but also annoying. This is the home of Blight, basically, is Edengrove. So You make sure to bring. I think they mentioned in the video. Make sure to bring your blight resistant potions because you're in for trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the Angry Earth, man. It's a very unique mob set or mob type in the MMO too. That's kind of one of the things that set them apart. I know the ancients kind of do too, but most of what we've seen so far out of the ancients are just skeletons walking around. So they're kind of nothing too incredibly unique until we have seen now, since we've seen some of the previews of some of the other dungeons. Whenever they tease like Lazarus instrumentality, that dungeon, they showed what we think is going to be an ancient at the end of that thing. We're not 100% positive yet, but it shows the big huge thing with the lasers coming out of his eyes and all that cool stuff. So the ancients, I think, are going to be unique as we begin to unravel more about them. But in terms of uniqueness right now that we have in game, the Angry Earth are probably the most unique mob type that we have. I mean, you have the Lost that are kind of zombies running around. We've seen that. The Corrupted are just kind of corrupted, almost zombie kind of creatures. But the Angry Earth, man, they're unique, and the way they act, the way they move, the way they interact with other things, the types of Angry Earth mobs we have, because we have like wildlife type of Angry Earth. We have these kind of abomination looking things that run around. You have these shaman looking things. You have all types of Angry Earth creatures. And I like that too, man. And they're housed here in Edengrove, and it's a very cool mob type.
Yes, for sure. It's important to note, and this is kind of, I think opens up an interesting speaking topic. There are 2 outposts in Edengrove. There is no settlement. So, as you move to the center of the map, you start to notice this, Bordy. In Edengrove, the Great Cleave, and Shattered Mountain, there is no settlement. So these are the only zones, in Aeternum that don't have like some sort of settlement that players can war over. Even the newest in-game zones that they've added, which are Reekwater and Ebonscale Reach, those are able to be owned by players. So I think it's interesting because as you move towards what we assume is the center of the map, but technically the north of the map right now, you start to notice that players can't inhabit those areas. So I think that's pretty interesting to think about. What do you think the reasoning is between why these particular zones in the north can't be owned or settled upon?
I don't know, man. I've thought about that a lot, and I really don't have a reason behind it other than maybe they're going to make that, like you said, kind of the center of the map later on. And so that it's clear that they have some kind of future plans for those areas. And I would think that maybe at some point the map's going to just kind of build around those, and those will end up being kind of the center. But that's, I don't know. I don't know of any good reason right now as to why they're not. I don't know, man. What's your thoughts there?
I think that they'll be able to work behind this or work around this, but I think initially the plan was for, that to be like the in-game part of the game. And so now that they've been adding, they've had a chance to add these new zones and stuff. Now they're kind of having to, probably rethink or rework them, those upper or northern zones to figure out what they're going to do up there that's unique from the, the player settled zones for sure. But we'll see, man, because, I think it's exciting to think about, the potential of maybe the Shattered Mountain has a portal to some other world that we're, going to get to travel to. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, having that as like a dark zone or a black zone, like in Albion Online, where basically you go up there and there is no settlements and it's kind of like open world PvP. I don't know if they're going to do anything like that, but if they were, I think the middle of the map or the northern part of the map right now is the best place to do that. Because it kind of, goes with the lore, right? Players can't settle up there and earn or take the stake of that land. So it makes more sense that it'd be more of like a lawless area. So, so we'll see, man. We'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, I had that same thought process a little bit, but then as I thought about that, I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen because I just don't think we're going to get a zone in that manner, at least not anytime soon. But it would be really cool if those zones were turned into some type of area like that, some type of really contested PvP area or something. I don't know. But right now, I'm not real sure what the thought process is behind not having a settlement there. I can kind of see the thought process maybe behind the Shattered Mountain because it's just this in-game PvE zone that's not intended to be captured by anyone. So it's not really fought over in that manner. But the other two zones, like what is it, the Great Cleave and Edengrove, I'm not real sure there.
Yeah. And I think it also remains to be seen like what the max level is going to be for in the future.
Yeah.
Because you know, if this is truly the focus of like in game and stuff, just the area around the Shattered Mountain, you would think if they do increase the level cap, they'll also have to think about you know, increasing the level in those zones. But there's other ways around that, Bordy. We've kind of seen that in Elder Scrolls Online and the championship or the champion point system. You don't actually have to increase your max level. You can use a different progression system that keeps all your content relevant, but still allowing players to progress in some way. So they might take that route too, and just keep that whole northern zone like 60-65.
Yeah, maybe. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right, man. Well, that about does it for New World. A slow week in the news category, but that's okay. We can have these every now and again. Let's hop right over here to the company of the week, which is IRONFIST Gaming.
Yeah, man. So IRONFIST Gaming, they are Region NA, Faction Covenant. Man, I don't know about that one, man. Language English, focus PVX, size 26 to 50. They are currently recruiting. And it says here, I'm not going to waste your time trying to sell you on history you don't care about. Here are the facts about our company. I like that, man. Straight to the point, dude. They have a dope graphic over here for IRONFIST. Honor and brotherhood. I love it, dude. That graphic looks incredible. We have some really, really talented people. I don't know if they commission these or if they do them themselves, but we've seen some really cool company logos since we've been doing this, and this is one of them. So it says, we're an adult community. We believe everyone needs a work-life balance, and video games should not come first. So there we go. That's a pretty good point. If you're kind of a mature MMO player, which most of us these days are, with family life, kids, this may be a company for you. So
happy Father's Day to you and everybody listening, or a day late, probably, I guess.
Well, we are recording it on Father's Day.
Right,
so
exactly.
Yeah. It says they've been around since 2003, long-standing history here. They're going to be doing all content in the game, PvE and PvP. They have a Discord. They have a website that you can go to view more information about IRONFIST. And they plan on having scheduled raid and PvP events for their members to partake in. So sounds like a cool place to be a part of, man. Go check them out. IRONFIST. Honor and brotherhood. I like it, man. IRONFIST Gaming. We'll be sure to have their link to the New World fans post here, which contains all their other links in all the descriptions everywhere this podcast can be found.
Yes, sir. We are very thankful for our patrons. Thank you guys so much. IRONFIST Gaming is part of that, and we're just grateful to have you guys on the website. Going out and creating your companies. We have a ton of companies over there. So we have our builders popping off too. It's been crazy seeing your guys' guides and builds that you're putting together. All this theory crafting, which I always enjoy, is really fun to look at. Other people do that. So guys, thanks for continuing to use New World fans as your resource for New World, and we just hope to continue to put out good content over there that you guys continue to use. All right, Bordy. Well, that wraps it up. Maybe shortest episode ever, but now you guys can get back to work or to driving or whatever you guys are doing. We'll be back next week, of course, with another episode of New World to Go.